Welcome back to Grand Slam Sports NBA, and it is with I'm very happy to say I'm joined here again with my mentor, Giselle Valentin. Welcome back to a UIndyTV show.
Oh man, I am so happy to be back here. We started on last call. We were literally on that wall going back and forth with our awkward hand gestures, and now look at us now. We're behind the desk. We are sitting. It is truly such an honor to be back here. I really appreciate it because, man, I miss talking NBA with you, and I'm so glad I get to be back here again. I'm going to be honest, Charles, me working my new job and kind of have to sleep in a little bit early and my TV not working for a bit, I haven't been keeping up with the NBA season as much as I should have, but there's some major NBA headlines happening.
Oh, absolutely, and it's that time of the year, and I like to go over my injuries, and it's that time of the year where injuries are starting to hit. So we got a little injury update for you guys. First off, no surprise here, as a Celtics fan especially, Robert Williams is undergoing knee surgery to be out for the rest of the season. How do you feel about that, Giselle?
Are we, like you said, are we really surprised? This is another injury by this man. Now he's with the Portland Trail Blazers. I don't even think he's going to even last this season there. So he needs to schedule an appointment with the doctor because I don't know what's wrong with this man because, no, this is way too long and he needs to be healthy. So next.
It's hard for teams like that, but this one's a little bit more of the mystery factor. CJ McCollum, another former Blazer. The third one we've gone over this year. CJ McCollum with the collapsed lung. He will be out to be determined. We don't actually have an update on when he will be back. What does this mean for a Pelicans team that was actually looking pretty good this year?
They were looking so good. I was rooting for them. I love me some CJ McCollum. He's such a solid guard, especially with him shooting on the end, and it helps the Pelicans team, this young roster team. I'm really bummed. I don't know how they're going to do in his absence. I think they'll be able to continue well, but I don't know, it's going to be a little bit of they're going to be a little bit shaken up here a bit.
This is a team they cannot stay away from injuries. Some teams are just cursed. Zion Williamson has not played a full season since being drafted. Brandon Ingram has been back and forth. So for them to finally be back and to lose CJ McCollum, that's tough. It's hard.
Right, to get a great guy like CJ, and it's like, okay, now we got this momentum going, come on, and then boom. But I truly wish CJ the best of luck because that is one
especially
tough
those injuries that can impact someone's life. It's hard to see.
So definitely keep our thoughts and his prayers.
Moving on to a more, a little lighter injury. This one's just a finger injury. Wendell Carter Jr., former Bulls.
Oh player. Yeah, my baby. Oh no, with the Orlando Magic. Yeah, he had it. I remember when he was in Chicago, he did struggle a little bit with that finger. He always had some sort of hand injury. So I'm kind of a little bit. I'm not really surprised to see that he's out 3 weeks, but it's only 3 weeks. Yeah. He'll be fine. The Magic, they're gonna still do what they're gonna do. Yeah. So.
Another one. A lot of these injuries are kind of no surprise here. Jamal Murray coming back from his torn ACL 2 years ago, out for a month with the hamstring injury that was just announced. For a Nuggets team that this is midway through the in-season tournament, defending champions, what do you do without your star point guard?
Man, this is gonna be a tough one because we'll definitely talk about this later, our picks for the NBA Finals. This is going to be a little bit of a toughie, but you also have Jokic, and I think, it's Nikola Jokic. It's the Joker, so I think he's definitely going to pick up in their absence, but it's a tough break on the guard side for the Nuggets, but hopefully, he can get back to his normal self and we can see the Nuggets go further again in the playoffs, possibly another championship. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, looking at this team's very talented. Jamal Murray's out for I want to say 20 days now is about what it's looking like. Yeah. It's not too bad in the NBA season, and I think they'll be fine. They got depth. That's the reason they won last year. So I think they're going to be good. But speaking of finals winners, me and Jace earlier in the season, we picked our finals, who we thought was going to win.
What did he say? I'm really curious what
Jace went with the Bucks and the Nuggets, and I went with the Suns and the Celtics. It is now your turn to kind of enlighten us. We're going to look back at this at the end of the year.
Wait, you went with the
Suns and Celtics. I had Celtics taking it out.
Me and Jace must be telepathical twins or something, because I actually did say the Bucks and the Nuggets. I don't know. I feel it in my soul because I remember last year when we were on last call you know, Miami wasn't doing really well in the in-season tournament, and I said, you know what, miracles can happen.
Miracles can happen.
Guess what happened?
Miracles
what happened?
happen.
What
Miracles
happened
happen.
exactly? And I called Nuggets too. Pull up the receipts, okay? But I'm agreeing with Jace right here. I just have this gut feeling. But once again, like we mentioned earlier, with Jamal Murray out, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be a damper, but they have so much talent on that team. I think they'll make up for it in his presence while he's gone.
These are two teams right now at that stage, the Bucks and the Nuggets. Both of them are kind of starting off a little bit slower. And the Nuggets are playing fine, but with the injury to Jamal, you know, that's going to kind of slow them down a little bit. And Dame and Giannis have still been kind of trying to learn to mesh together. But by the end of that season, once we get to that point of the year where, you know, it's crunch time, I do think that's a pretty fair pick.
Right. No, I definitely, especially like you mentioned, all these, you know, the season just started not too long ago, like a couple weeks ago. So some of these teams are having a bit of a rocky start. I can't say it. Rocky start. I'm so sorry to say this. My Bulls are one of those teams. I don't want to talk about it. But I think, like you mentioned, once the season starts to pick up, especially within that All-Star break, that's when we see the teams really come out on its best. So I think that's when we're going to see, like, but I'm really confident. I think me and Jace got this in the bag. I don't know about the Suns, though.
The Suns,
I don't know about that.
I'm high on Phoenix. I think that they have the talent differential, and I really like the bench players that they did pick up because they didn't just go and pick up. They don't look as desperate as some other teams. So I really like that team. But you know, now let's kind of focus on the in-season tournament. We got multiple games tonight, multiple primetime games tonight. We have 4 games picked out that we feel like are very important. We're going to talk about them. First off, the first primetime game tonight on ESPN, we have the Nets in Boston against the Celtics.
So against your Celtics, well, then Boston's been pretty healthy all season, so they come in with that advantage. However, Brooklyn, not too much. They lost Cam Thomas just a few weeks ago and Nick Claxton as well. So those are kind of like 2 big members of that Brooklyn team. But I'm going to go with Celtics on this one. I can't see Brooklyn kind of overcoming that. And I really think with Kristaps Porzingis with Boston, I really like him there because he's just such a heavy presence in the paint.
Boston undefeated at TD Garden this year. It's one of those places that's hard to play. You got to come into a Boston team that's already talented. Their crowd is going to be loud. It's the first in-season tournament game in Boston's history. So, I mean, it's going to be loud. They're healthy, and, you know, no Ben Simmons tonight either for the Nets. The Nets are just slowly getting hurt every single game.
Right.
So
that's just a common thing for the Nets. Like you mentioned, teams are
cursed.
They're one of those teams. And Ben Simmons on the team, no, they really curse.
So give me the Celtics in about a 10-point game.
I'm going to say Celtics on this one.
Moving on to one that I think will be a little bit more closer, a little shootout. We got the Clippers versus the Mavericks in Dallas. This one, not a primetime game, but these two teams have very strong offenses, especially with the Clippers bringing in James Harden. Who you got in this game?
I am going to go with Dallas on this one. Luka Doncic, that's my guy right there. He is just literally like the next Dirk Nowitzki, or if not, literally like the smaller version. Basically he is the smaller version of Dirk Nowitzki. So that man is just phenomenal all season. James Harden, once again, like I haven't like seen too much of him lately because once again my TV be broken, but I just be hearing some stuff about him and I'm just like, I'm going to go with Dallas.
I'm honestly going to counterpick that. Personally, coming into this game, the Mavericks, you know, their biggest issue has been their paint presence. They've had struggles with can they stop people in the paint? You know, Kawhi Leonard likes to play in the paint more, Paul George as well. And with Derek Lively and Dwight Powell now being confirmed, most likely out for the game. Dwight Powell is out. Derek Lively might be. So I think that with that lack of paint presence, I think that gives the Clippers the advantage. It's going to be a scoring battle. I mean, these two teams have very mediocre defenses. And, you know, you got the 4 former superstars in the Clippers and then the 2 current superstars in the Mavericks. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a fun one, but I got the Clippers edging this out one very closely.
remember, I predicted some stuff last year and it happened.
Yeah.
I want to bet on this one. I am going to go with Mavs on this one.
I like it. We'll talk about it tonight.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it tonight. You're going to keep them updated. I'm going to go Mavs. You're going to go Clippers. Okay, but moving on to another team, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Sacramento Kings. That's going to be an interesting one, kind of.
This
little bit.
This matchup's always fun. I always like to watch these two teams. This one's sort of a nod to Jace, who will not be with us on the show, obviously, today. He is currently traveling. But Jace had both the Kings and the Thunder. They were their predictions to come out of the in-season tournament and win it all. So these two teams, they're playing at each other tonight. And, the Kings, they're dealing with some injuries with De'Aaron Fox right now.
Yes.
Thunder, they've been fully healthy and are arguably one of the best teams on paper in the entire NBA. In my opinion. So I got the Thunder taking it. They're going to go to Sacramento. I got them taking it in a close one, but matchup advantage.
I am also going to second agree on that because without De'Aaron Fox in the mix, the Kings have been 1-3 since his injury. But the Kings do have a really elite offense rating with 121 points per game, but that's with Fox on the floor. So when he's not on the floor, the Kings do struggle in that. So I am actually going to go with OKC on this. I really like that team. I also really like the Kings too. Like you mentioned, they're both really young, super fun teams to watch. It was so fun seeing Sacramento really pull it off in the playoff push last year. They didn't make it too far, but they still have a very promising future ahead of them.
Absolutely.
But I'm definitely going to go with OKC on this.
And of course, the game that's going to be talked about for the entirety of tonight, Lakers versus Suns. I mean, this game it's a classic, of course. It's become a classic. You got the KD versus LeBron Part 2 coming into this season. And this is a big game. I mean, no D-Book coming into this game, but Bradley Beal is back now. So they're just shuffling superstars. You got KD. We're going to have Bradley Beal coming in tonight. And they're playing in Phoenix.
Bradley Beal, he made an appearance he made his debut against my Chicago Bulls. Don't talk to me about that game. That was such a heartbreaker. But yes, in his first game with the Suns, he had 13 points. He averaged about 22 points per season with the Washington Wizards for 11 seasons. That's a lot. And Frank Vogel, I have a quote from Frank Vogel after the game. He was talking about Bradley Beal. He says, we're going to be smart with his rotation, not let him have too long of runs with it being his first game. We'll have a minutes restriction, but it's more of a range. We're not going to put a number on it. So he did play 24 minutes, had 13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 block, while shooting 3 from 12 from the field and 3 from 6 from three-point range. If I'm going to be really honest, I don't think this Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, I don't think it's going to mesh really well. I think Bradley Beal, he's great. He's a solid player. I just really don't see it working well with Devin Booker, especially when Devin comes back from his calf injury, which we didn't even know,
I haven't heard much about it. It just kind of came in.
It just came in. I'm like, is he really injured?
It's been a day-by-day kind of thing with him, and it's been unfortunate. But Bradley Beal coming into the Suns, I was definitely kind of 50-50 on it.
Me too.
Because it's one of those things, we've seen this in Brooklyn. I think Bradley Beal is a better superstar to sit with someone and be on another team than someone like the James Harden, Kyrie Irving we're talking about. Right. Because they don't need the ball as much to do something in the game. Right. But the issue is the lack of a true point guard, which you see in a lot of teams. Someone that's not going to they don't have anyone that's going to create on them. It's just most of their creation is because of the fact that you're so scared of them scoring. I think that once all three of these guys are healthy, we're going to see a very good game from them. But as far as a playoff team is concerned, I am nervous about them. I
don't think they're going to make a strong presence in the playoffs. Maybe I'm going to predict this. I'm going to see second round in the playoffs, they're out. I just don't see it happening. Like you mentioned, with Kevin Durant also added to this mix, big three, I think his presence is going to be lost a little bit. You have both huge players, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. I don't see it really meshing well, and I think he's going to have a loss of identity.
I think it's going to be an interesting one. I don't see Bradley Beal being in Phoenix for a while. With that one. But I feel like Phoenix is more of a placeholder. He just needs to get out of Washington. Yes. And I personally was a fan of him, the Boston move, but that obviously didn't happen. Drew Holiday came and replaced it, so I'll take that. But speaking of minutes restriction, we were talking about this earlier. LeBron James has been on a 35-minute restriction for most of the season. They put him on that. What do the Lakers do without their best player playing in the best moments? If they're only going to have him for 35 minutes.
What the Lakers are going to do, they're going to not be well. They're
Yeah.
going to tank. This is LeBron James. This is like, do I have to say any more? Like,
No.
honestly, this is the person who has been carrying this team all like nonstop since he's been with LA.
And every other team he's been on too.
Exactly. So like without him in the mix, it's just like the same pattern without LeBron in the mix with Miami when he was out, with Cleveland as well. It's just not going to go well. I mean, I'm looking at this team right now, like looking at these people, I'm like, who is this man? Like who is this? Like honestly, they have struggled out of the gate with a 3-5 record so far. And this is with him, LeBron's minutes restricted. I mean, as simple, I sound like Stephen A. Smith, but like, the Lakers cannot win without LeBron.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do my Stephen A. impression.
The big thing about, in my opinion, the whole LeBron thing is they want to rest him so he can be used longer. My only question is, he's 38 years old.
Right.
Why? At that point, like, what is the point of having LeBron James if he's not able to be LeBron James? He is averaging almost 25 points a game on minute restriction. He is still in my opinion, the best player of all time.
No, baby.
I'm arguing with the Bulls fan here, so we already know how this is going to go.
No.
But,
He's not about to go there. No, I'm not going to take this Bulls slander. I know this is your show. I know I'm a guest, but baby, we is not about to do that.
We're arguing.
But anyway, go ahead.
We're arguing.
Yeah, we'll go.
But,
I had to set him straight. I had to set him straight. Bring me back again. We'll talk about that. But go.
We'll have a GOAT debate someday. This is my mentor. She's yelling at me. I'm scared.
No. How dare he? How dare he? Like my math teacher, my sophomore math teacher told me, Mr. McCoy, he said Michael Jordan will be better at basketball than Neil Armstrong is at landing on the moon or something. He said something like that. But anyway. Yes.
Telling you, get her on. We'll get her on for a GOAT debate. We'll have a 30-minute GOAT debate right here.
I will be glad. You best believe I will be back here. But anyway, go on. I don't know what were you even talking about?
LeBron James needs to do what LeBron James needs to do, and he needs that time to do it. And 35 minutes is not enough.
I agree. I totally agree with you.
With a team that, without LeBron on the floor, when LeBron is on the floor, they average almost 6 points per 100 possessions more than without LeBron on the floor. That is a difference to me. That's almost 2 to 3 more buckets whenever LeBron is on the floor. That adds up. And for a team that's only scoring less than 108 points per 100 possessions, they're not scoring very well. That's been the issue with this team for the past 3 years. You have a scorer in LeBron. Use him. So what if he retires at 40? It's a good career for literally everyone. So just use him. Stop trying to save him till later. I don't get that.
And another thing too, the Lakers come into this game with a lengthy injury report. One of the key players is Anthony Davis, who may be questionable tonight with his hip and or groin injury. So your second man up, and he might even be not even play. So, and then once again, I'm looking at this roster. I'm like, who is this man? Who is this man? Like, no. But I totally agree with you. Like, imagine if they weren't restricting him. Imagine the season he'd be having. Imagine the impact he'd be having on this Lakers team. They could possibly win some games. He just has that veteran presence, that
leadership. And if
leadership.
they actually spent money on a bench, that would help too.
Yes, exactly.
You're the Lakers. A lot of people want to play for you. Instead of paying Austin Reeves half of your salary, pay for a bench, please. But that's okay.
That's a hot topic right there. But I think it's safe to say we're gonna go on Phoenix on this one, because also with Phoenix they have Kevin Durant, they have Bradley Beal, who I'm a little bit iffy about, but I love this player they picked up, Jusuf Nurkic. I really like him.
I'm a massive Nurkic fan as well.
I love that guy. He's very solid on both ends of the floor, so I think he's gonna definitely pick up in the absence of Devin Booker for sure. So I am going to go with Phoenix on this one.
Absolutely. And that's going to wrap it up for today's Grand Slam Sports NBA segment. Special thank you very much for Giselle for coming back on her birthday as well, to come onto the show and to take over and help me out. So that's all from us. We'll see you guys next week.